right, Bill, back to you as the news breaks. Thank you. Let's bring in former GOP presidential candidate Vivek Ramaswamy. Vivek, thank you for coming on. We very much appreciate this. Very bad day for President Biden. What do you think?
Look, I think the number one takeaway, Trace, is this. Joe Biden will not be the nominee. I said this last year. People dismissed it as some type of conspiracy theory. Today, I think it became that much more obvious. Play this out. Biden's own DOJ and special counsel is effectively releasing a report that undermines the case for him to actually be a candidate for the U.S. presidency, right as Biden's poll numbers are cratering. We have to do the math, skate to where the puck is going, not fall for the deflection. But I do think what they're planning for is to sideline Biden as the nominee, trot in a different puppet instead. That's the most significant takeaway from tonight.
And what do you think caused the most damage, Vivek? I mean, we saw covering live today the report that came down from Robert Hur. It was detrimental, but then you had the news conference tonight. Did the president make a mistake by coming out with this news conference? Would it have been better just to issue a statement and then maybe move on or at least address it tomorrow? What do you think about the timing and the decision making?
I think the decision making was even poorer than the actual execution of it, both of which were terrible. But I think the reality is this. The managerial class in the Democratic Party, and I believe in the deep state, has decided that they have lost their use for Joe Biden as a puppet. I think they laid a trap for him. They invited him effectively to prove to the American people that he doesn't have the mental acuity to do it. He fell into their trap. And now they're laying the groundwork for in the coming 3 months to sideline him and actually put up who the real nominee is going to be. So I said this at the end of one of the Republican presidential debates, and I'll say it again. Just be honest with the American people. Tell us who the actual nominee is going to be so that we don't play these games and we can actually have an honest, open debate about who should be the next president of the United States, because we know that Joe Biden is not going to be one of those candidates. And I think tonight made that much more clear.
I wonder if you were like a lot of people tonight, Vivek, because the news conference was set for 7:45 Eastern time. It ended up being about 7:55. During that time, during the wait time, which was a better part of an hour, did you at any time think, like a lot of people did, that Joe Biden was going to come out and make some bold statement, maybe not to run for re-election?
I think that there was probably a discussion heading into it. And the reality is the Democratic Party has always had one obstacle stopping them from sidelining Joe Biden. That's what I call the Kamala Harris problem. They've tethered their identity to identity politics. Yet if they don't make her the nominee, it makes them very difficult to sideline Biden, which is what leads me to, I think, the likely conclusion that it is going to be someone like Michelle Obama who they do put up. So I think there are serious discussions likely underway. Pretty soon those are going to spill over into the public sphere. And I wouldn't have been shocked if that happened tonight, but I think the greater likelihood, Trace, is that they wait another couple of months and let this play out.
We talked about the mistakes that he made, and this is my last question to you, Vivek. Thank you for coming on. We talked about the mistakes the president made tonight after trying to convince America that he had a sound mind. What struck me the most was his back and forth with a reporter where she was saying that America is concerned about your mental acuity, and he said, that's your take, that's your opinion, that's your... And it really wasn't, because it's been happening all day. Very defensive about that.
Look, it does seem increasingly like a form of elder abuse, Trace. I mean, this is a man who was clearly personally hurt, personally insulted, but didn't have the mental acuity to process or even communicate the extent to which he had been hurt or insulted. And so the reality is this man is a puppet. The puppet masters who are wielding him have lost their use, and it's really just a sad situation to watch play out in plain sight, where this is the president of the United States. This was a man who ran on a campaign to reunite this country. And I think that this is a chance for the Republican Party to now take that mantle. This man said he wanted to unite the country. He failed. He lacks the acuity to do it. I think in the Republican nominee, that'll be President Trump, we have an opportunity for someone with the acuity to say that we will unite this country. And I think that's how we're going to win this in a landslide.
Vivek Ramaswamy, good to see you, sir. Thank you for coming on.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.